So I've been thinking, I really think we need to change the format of how this is going.
Oh, is it not good, or do you have a better idea?
I think I've got a better idea.
Oh.
And that's why I'm giving you notice.
What notice?
Hello and welcome to episode 26 of the podcast. Of the Pomcast.
The calm, the storm. I'm Baja and Las Yarl, and welcome to the car.
Anyway, welcome to episode 26 of the podcast, which is, in this circumstance, the penultimate podcast that we are doing for this year. I'm Jared.
And I'm David.
And this is the second last of these that you will hear.
Yeah, if you didn't know what penultimate meant.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you
found
go.
out. Learning.
There's a bit of a definition, a cheeky definition for you.
Oh.
Yeah, we've been having some discussions, and we're going to be changing up what we're doing with this channel very soon. So there's your forewarning. This is the second last week that you'll be being gifted with the podcast called the Pomcast, because I keep saying podcast instead of Pomcast.
Pomcast.
You'd think after 25 episodes that I'd be better at saying its name, but I'm not apparently. But that's okay.
We're cutting it. You cut.
And that's why we're cutting it.
cut.
I can't say the name.
Anyway.
No. In a week and a half, we're off around the continent of Europe rather than the little rock that's sort of attached to it but doesn't really want to be. So we're travelling for a bit, so we're not going to be doing much at all with the YouTubes.
Excuse me.
And the charming professionalism that occurs within this channel. So, yeah. What have you been up to this week?
Oh no. A question.
Yeah, I think it's the same question I ask you each week.
What have I been doing in the week? I was not prepared for this at all.
Oh, I know.
This sounds like it's a joke, but
Yeah.
it's just the truth.
It's just the truth.
Oh, fuck. Now I don't want to think. I was in my having it. I'm opening. What are we gonna get straight into? Because I've got a thing, but no, I haven't really done much this week.
Okay, well,
Let's go with that. Apart from, especially the past few days, I've had no motivation to do anything. And hey, let me finish.
Sorry. I thought you had finished.
No, let me finish. And what the fuck was I saying? I've had no motivation to do anything. And then I was like, I kind of feel like doing this. And then as soon as I'd start doing it, I'd immediately not want to do it. And then as soon as I stopped doing it, I'm like, why did I stop doing that? That was okay. So it's been a contradictory sort of mind battle for the past 48 hours. It's like, David, what the fuck are you doing? I don't know. I can do this, but that's boring. So I've read a book.
In a very similar way, I've been having the same sort of struggle, which is something that I've wanted to discuss because...
Wow, you could not be more relatable right now.
No, I know.
Please
it's
stop
weird.
it. You're taking away my individuality.
Oh,
I feel
sorry.
pressured here. I'm going to be unique and a maverick, and just leave me alone.
You being a maverick. Okay.
I am a mystery.
No, well, it's funny because, like, currently I'm sort of back in this limbo stage, which I was in at the start of the year before we moved to the UK.
Oh, is
there
that
was
something to do with your limbs?
No, it's limbo
no.
is another name for purgatory. It's that weird little waiting room.
The space between spaces.
Yes. And it's a really weird thing because there was 2 months at the start of the year where I was unemployed for the first time since I was just under the age of 15.
Oh, that was close.
And I had nothing to do, and the only thing that and I wasn't even though I was going to band.
There's literally everything to do when you're free from work.
Well, I was applying for work, and the only other thing that I was doing was going to band to listen to rehearsals, because at that point I didn't have an instrument and I wasn't playing with them. And at the moment, before we go overseas and go on holiday, in inverted commas...
Overseas?
I'm back in the same position where I'm going to band, but like the big competition is over now. The weekend is gone, and it sort of feels like everything's stopped It's really strange, and I have no motivation to do anything else but practice at the moment. That's the only thing I kind of want to do. And I'm sort of chipping away at this short story and getting a page or two done at a time, reading a bit, and then going off to practice again.
I have a lot of motivation to practice.
Piano, but you don't have
but
one.
I don't have a fucking piano,
Yeah.
so it's... the past 8 months has been incredibly annoying and continues to be annoying because I don't have a piano. Buy me a piano.
I'm not buying you a piano. We've discussed this.
Fair enough.
Anyway, yeah. So it's that weird limbo stage that we're in, and this is why we've taken the opportunity to have a discussion, and we're going to set out some new goals with not only the YouTube channel, but also what we're doing with our lives.
Really? That sounds like it's a thing.
Yeah, it is.
Ah, shit.
I know. So, yeah, that's fun. I did mention I had this weekend was the National Band Championships of Great Britain for
Disgusting.
4th section up to 1st. In a couple of weeks, the championship sections go on stage at the Royal Albert Hall. However, the other lower sections were in Cheltenham at the Centaur, which is at the race club there. And my band played in 3rd section, and we came 13th out of 19 bands.
You suck.
Well, see, no,
that's a joke.
that's very much not the case.
Yeah, that's it.
I know it was a joke.
It's a joke.
But a couple of them were really... They weren't really upset, but I think there was a little bit of, dismay that when you come 13th, when you come a little bit below the middle of the pack.
You're in the top 100%.
Well, this is the thing. The band had already won the regional. Well, they hadn't won the regional. There was 18 bands or something that I think played in the regional competition at Blackpool for the northwest area of England. The band came 3rd, so they were already at the top section of the area, and they're qualified for the nationals. So of 19 bands, they came 13th of the country, with other bands that didn't make it to this competition. So that to me is a good thing. They are the top 13th band of entirety of 3rd section across the United Kingdom. Now that's a good thing. That's a really great achievement. And considering that the last couple of years the band has been in the lower section, the 4th section, that's a really good achievement. To get up there and actually perform what is quite a hard piece of music. Hinimoa is not an easy piece. It's a wonderful story, an Antipodean love story of 2 warring Maori tribes in New Zealand, and 2 of the princess of one and I think a warrior of the other falling in love and crossing the water and everything like that. Stunning.
Classic.
Well, it's sort of Romeo and Juliet, but it ends in a happy ending rather.
Oh, I thought, suicide was...
No.
That was like a nice way to cut them off. You don't want to... Their lives were ended, and you know the whole story.
Yeah.
That's what I like about Romeo and Juliet.
No, in the story of Hinimoa, they get together after she sort of struggles to cross the water, but his flute playing commits her to cross the water and swim and not drown. Yes. She's called across the water by his flute playing. That's one of the parts of the story and that's used in the music. So I was just at that, and that was a fantastic experience. I don't think I've ever gone so far across a country to perform one piece of music for one contest. I'm so used to nationals where... I think this is where the Australians do it better than the British, because our national championships, instead of just one piece of music, we get the test piece for each grade.
Test piece.
And then we get to pick our own major work, our own choice, which... Another big piece of music, 10 to 15 minutes long. Then you play a hymn and you stage march. And then you also do the parade of bands, which means you march and be inspected and play another piece of music.
Gross.
So we have 3 full days of music, which I think is fantastic. I think it's a much better setup than just driving down for one piece of music to listen to everybody play.
One and done.
But I will leave the British to continue their little traditional ways, and I shall go back to Australia and do my own thing with banding there. So. But anyway.
It's the fantastic segue.
Yes.
Am I meant to say something now?
Did we segue into... We segued into a wall.
I don't know.
That's going to create a big spike in the audio. I'm sorry. No, I won't clap again.
Yeah. I'll have to cut you. And then also fix the audio.
Yeah, sorry. So we were having a discussion. We've been having a couple of discussions of late. One of them, which sort of fits into the fact that we've been ranting a little bit about the car industry and electrification and everything like that. But it's a little bit more, it's a broader conversation topic.
Abstracted from that.
Yes, which is automation.
Automation!
Now,
what does it do? Where do you go? How does it work? I don't know.
you're going to be a software engineer. Surely to God you should know.
Fuck automation, man. I'm going to make video games.
See, this is...
Screw enterprise integration. That's boring. Unless that integration is Twitch streaming for your video game. Well, I don't know. Continue, please.
Well, we were having this discussion about the impact of automation, and I'm a little bit of a traditional. I'm not a little bit of a traditionalist. I am a traditionalist when it comes to a lot of things, and one of those things, and linking it back, is about driving. I'm not a huge fan of leaving a computer program to hurtle me down the road at 100 kilometers an hour. I'm not particularly fond of that idea.
But it's statistically safer.
Yes, I understand all that, but at the same time, until it becomes completely mainstream, I don't trust it with other people on the road.
Yeah,
Because
but you can make the exact same argument right now. There's the other people
Yes.
are still on the road.
no, I know. But in the case of other people being on the road, I would prefer to be the one in control rather than computer. And I know that sounds a bit daft because you have
Because
somebody...
it's statistically safer.
Well, there's that, and you also have somebody to blame with a computer program. But I, in that circumstance, would want to be in control of the vehicle.
Oh.
Until you get to complete...
So it's basically, if you were to be in a car accident, you'd rather have it be... I'm very confused.
I don't want a computer to make the decision for me when it has if it's level 1 or level 2 automation. I don't want it.
Well, yeah, screw
there.
that. Screw that level of automation. That's...
Yeah.
Drive those
But
levels.
that's where we're at the moment. I understand that we
Kind
have
of.
to progress. Rather like becoming bankrupt, you have it starts a little bit and then it just becomes it's just everywhere. The slope is very gentle at the start, and then suddenly everything's there. It's the way of the world. But at the moment, automation in car industry. But that's not what we were getting at in the discussion.
What?
Automation in so many other facets of life, I'm not really fond of.
Like taps. Wait, that's a faucet.
Yeah, that's a faucet.
Never mind. Plumbing. You like automated plumbing? Let's not talk about
No.
that. Who actually... But plumbers, like, how do you automate a plumber? They kind of still, like, they still have to build stuff.
Yeah.
Can't really automate a plumber.
See, this is
Plumb
where...
bum. Their jobs are safe. Until we get legitimate androids. But then that, like...
This is where I was sort of getting at in the argument the other day.
A plumb bum.
Now, I know that some things will be able to be taken over by computers, and that has already happened in terms of manufacturing and in terms of monitoring equipment and things like that. Computers have taken the role. Computers have taken humans from that role.
Yes.
If you look at it from a philosophical point of view, it should allow humans to then go off and do other things.
In the long run,
Yeah.
yes, as a society and as, you know, humanity can progress from that point, because you no longer have everyone going, oh man, I'm going to build this car. No, the car's built. So then you can build another car. You design better cars.
See, this is where my issue comes in, and looking at it from how history has progressed, I don't think if we get to automation where just about everything can sort of be, you can have a thought bubble and then it can be put into practice and something will happen with it. And theoretically, everybody should have the time and the energy to either focus on progressing society or adding to it in a creative manner. I don't think that will happen because I don't have that much faith in the populace, because I don't think they'll have the drive to do it.
Yeah, and then there's like, how far does it go in automation? Are we just gonna... Are we going into the Matrix, where you can just simulate existence forever? Yeah, so that's a thing.
Yeah.
You just think you have feelings but thinking you have feelings and having feelings are the same thing.
This is where I have reservations about progression, as what I call it, progression for the sake of progression. Automating things that don't need to be automated.
Oh yeah, that's...
Removing things that humans do and have created our lives around, and giving that to a thing to do. Because I think if we get to that point and everything is so easy that we only just have to have a thought about it and it happens, you won't have thought. Because I think everybody will fall into depression.
You won't have thought.
No. I also truly believe that if automation gets to the point where it's creating art for us, whether that
Well, that depends on, like, the art. Is the computer just... If you just ask the computer, create me art, and it does it, well, like, what do you do? Or you just, like, if we're at that level of automation, then you could delve deeply into details and tell this computer or system thing to exactly what you want to create. It's like, I would like a cartoon... And then it goes and builds you a cartoon.
Right.
And then you just specify details, and it's like a...
See, there's that...
It's like being a boss and telling your employees to do something, and then they do it, except it's not employees, it's just a computer.
True, but at the same time, if you got to that stage, like, I don't think society now values anything that is a creative endeavor as much as what they used to. The value of art and literature and music is very low in comparison to what it was, say, 100 years ago. The history book that I'm reading at the moment tells of huge European conventions of art, bringing things across from America and all across Europe to showcase, and people lining up on the streets for hundreds of meters to get in, just to be shuffled through.
To look at an art.
To look at art and pay a substantial amount of money for it. It also tells of the story of, in 1913, the Mona Lisa being stolen from the Louvre in Paris, and people mourning its loss. I don't think people would do that now, because they don't value it. And I solely blame that on technology, because everything's so accessible. They don't treat it with respect. People line up
for movies.
I think that's a different...
Massive... How is it different? It's just
because
lots of pictures. That's repeated.
That's not appreciating the art. That's appreciating the celebrity.
What?
I think
what about Harry Potter?
That's appreciating a story. So that does go against my argument. But I would say on a whole, Harry Potter would go against the majority of movies in that sense.
Harry Potter. Ooh, Harry Potter. That's me.
But anyway, it's a little bit philosophical on a Tuesday afternoon.
What? It's not Tuesday. It is Tuesday.
Also, we were having this fun discussion, and David...
I'm not. What are you doing?
David did introduce me to the wonders of Jordan Shanks's motivational, I suppose is the right word, videos.
Yeah, he's started a... If you don't know who Jordan Shanks is, he's the guy who runs Friendly Geordies. And if you don't know what that is, you'll find out, maybe.
Yes.
Anyway, he started a new channel a few months ago, which is just, he says, it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but it'll probably just be dedicated to self-help. Which is funny. It is. It's very entertaining stuff you say. Anyway, what the fuck were you talking about?
I was bringing up the video, which pretty much had the idea around it that if it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
If it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
And I think that is such a great thing to live by. I can't remember whether we No, we did discuss this last week.
I don't remember.
I think we did.
I don't know.
But anyway, I've been trying to... Since watching that, I've been reviewing everything that I've been doing and going, all right, let's apply this logic to it.
Oh.
And I think I'm doing it.
If it's not a hell yes, it's a no.
Yeah.
So you're...
I had, like this morning, I had... Well, last night I went to a pub quiz because a friend from band messaged me. I
And you were like, hell yes.
yes, I really like pub quizzes, and they're quite a lot of
like
fun.
them.
No, David doesn't like them. I do.
I just like pubs.
But then, whilst I was there with my two friends, they were discussing because they both have time. They both have days.
Friends?
Yes.
How do you handle having two friends?
I have a lot more than two. I'm sorry.
But how do you? What do you?
It's called time management. I'm good at it.
But there's too many friends.
No,
You can't.
You don't have to be in contact with them all the time. That's what people don't understand with friendship.
But I don't want to contact them ever.
All right, crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, what?
They were talking about going because they both got time off, and I'm in this weird limbo state, so I can sort of do anything that I want at the moment. Not everything, but that's They were discussing this morning, going on a day trip to Manchester or Leeds or something like that. And initially I thought about it and I went, I was like, I kind of like the idea, but at the same time I want to stay home. And I initially said yes, and then I thought about it and I was like, actually no, because I had reservations. It's not a hell yes, it's a no. So I said, I'm going to leave it. And
instead we ate cheese.
Yeah, instead we went out for lunch, which was really nice. But did you find the waitresses a bit like... It was like they were in a mood.
What? The waitresses?
Yeah, like particularly the first
one. I honestly
one.
wasn't paying much attention to the waitresses.
Oh, really? I think
just surprised me and go order. I'm like, I gotta read the menu now. Shit, I just whenever I get a menu, mostly I look at it. When I first get I look at it and I just like I'm reading, but none of it's making any sense. Nothing's happening because I'm just thinking about. I don't know what. I'm reading the menu, but nothing is... I'm not thinking about if I want the things. I'm just reading it as a piece of text.
You just read...
It's like, yeah, that's like a... It's like I've picked up a magazine or something at the doctor's office and I'm reading it, but I don't give a shit. And then as soon as I come over, I'm like, oh, fuck, I have no idea what... And then I just go, see the first thing that I like and go, sure, that'll do. And then... realize that they don't have that, and then shit.
So I'm a bit terrible because I like to know where I'm going to eat. If we're going to go out somewhere, I like to find out first, particularly if it's sort of a friend thing or whatever. If I'm being invited, like if it's a different scenario, if it's a date and somebody else is organising, but most of the time I know where we're going and I research it first.
Don't do that. You just gotta eat. Look at things and be like, we're going here. Where? I don't know. And then you pick a food item and then you eat it and then you go, that was good.
Yeah,
and
but
that's how you live for life.
But even no, see, I can't do that because I get too curious about what they actually offer before I get there because I like looking through the menu without the pressure of knowing that I have to pick then and there.
But you don't. You just go, can I have some more time, please?
Yeah, no, but that just pisses them off. And I've been in that position where I'm serving people.
Well, it pisses you off. They're like, hey, can I get you anything? And you're like, no. So you just leave. You go serve someone else. There's no reason for them to be annoyed that you're not ordering food. They just have to come back later.
It's somewhat different in that...
It's like a snooze button on an alarm clock. It's like, hey, do you want? No, thanks. Okay, bye.
I think in that sort of roaming restaurant where the waitresses and waiters are wandering around, that's fine. You can do that. But in the circumstances that I've been in serving food, it's standing behind a counter and they're like sort of gawking up at the wall with the menu and go, I don't know what. Oh, that's new. And
I stand at the back until I know what I want.
Yeah, no, but most people don't, and
that's because they're stupid.
I know,
inconsiderate. But this is a different scenario.
Working at KFC was fucking horrible, but I have since that point always tried to just get it over and done with because I know that the waiter the waiter doesn't want to come back. I know that they don't want to come back to the table and go, oh, have we finished sorting out what you're after? Like, because it is frustrating. Because you just think, why aren't you on my my level of organization here. You know, I would just want to take your order. I want to give it to the kitchen, and I want to go out the back, and I want to just scream into a pillow because everybody's fucking horrible. Like,
That sounds like a you issue.
that's very much a me issue.
Yeah, I think... Yeah.
What, are you saying that there's people that genuinely like being a waiter?
Well, probably. I'm not going to rule it out that some people fucking love being a waiter. Or waitress. Or wait person. Wait staff.
Wait staff, yeah.
Yes.
I
That'll do. And some people fucking hate it, but just gotta cope. So...
See, I don't know how they do it, but if there are people out there that genuinely like being wait staff, then I applaud them, but I do not understand.
I suppose it also depends on where you're working and the kind of customers you that come through the doors.
Are you making a class generalization or
Obviously.
Really? You would make a class generalization in restaurants? Like you... Because I would argue that all of them, no matter where you are just as bad as one another. Just some of them have their nose stuck up in the air, and some of them think they have their nose stuck up in the air. I don't think you get better clientele. I don't think you get better clientele that's determined by their social ranking. Awkward silence, awkward silence.
That makes sense. But if they're working at a place that only rich people go to, means they have a lot of money, which means they probably pay their wait staff better.
No.
Why the fuck would they work there?
You only have to look in terms of George Calombaris' restaurant in Melbourne.
Don't know who that is.
He is a television reality chef and has made
he already sounds terrible.
Yeah, he's been on MasterChef for a long time. He's made his name as a famous television chef, as a lot of them do. He owns a series of restaurants with a business partner, and it is reasonably expensive food. And he was just taken to court for underpaying his wait staff. Now, if you're selling a steak for $55, $60 a plate, and that's one of the cheapest options on the menu,
People's obsession with steak.
And you're paying your wait staff under minimum wage, which is, $19 or $21 an hour, depending on your age or something, I can't remember what it is. I don't think it's dependent on your age anymore, I don't really know. But they're paying them under that, and they're not giving them penalty rates, they're not giving them awards. Where is all of that money, where is all that income going?
Oh, to him, obviously.
Yeah, that's where wait staff don't get paid well regardless of where you are. You could be in a 3 Michelin star restaurant in Paris and you'd probably still get paid shit in comparison, to other jobs in similar places. I'd say if you were a sales attendant in, I don't know, like a high-end suit store or like a ladies' fashion label or something like that, I'd say you would be getting paid more than your counterparts at Primark or Next or Target or Big W. But still, if you were a waiter, regardless of whether you're it's a cheap chain.
What?
Jojo's. No. Jojo's is an Australian thing. Say I'd say that wait staff get at Jojo's or George
McDonald's?
McDonald's, it's fast food, slightly different, but
they still have wait staff.
Yes, that's weird. I don't like McDonald's having wait staff.
I mean, well, they're kind of just workers and they do pretty much everything, I guess.
You know what McDonald's also need? And this is just a one-off thing, I don't want to have a conversation about it. They need 2 different sizes of trays. They need the large ones that they have at the moment, and then they have one just for a single meal. Just a nice, smaller tray to put your stuff on, because you don't need all the fucking space. It's annoying. But anyway.
Just get it in a bag.
No,
Use the bag as a tray.
Yeah, it is easier.
Problem solved.
But then I forget, and I'm just like, they really dirtied a tray.
Oh, man. The McDonald's trays. Too big, am I right?
First world problems.
I guess my just optimism about people paying taking care of their employees.
Mm-mm.
No, people are cunts.
Yeah,
My bad.
I've worked in.
Forgot.
I've worked in too many places, and I know of enough issues within the workplaces that I know that bigger, like companies and things like that, they don't quite understand that if you treat your employees well, the business will thrive.
What? No.
Like, I don't understand.
That sounds like it'll legitimately work.
Yeah, I know.
Ridiculous.
Funny that. But yeah, if I ever own a business and you work for me,
business.
you will be paid correctly. But I won't ever own a business, so I'm sorry, that won't ever happen.
Why not? Don't you inherit a post office?
No! Don't want a post office. This has been a continual gripe for over a decade now. I don't want a post office. Mum and Dad, if you do not sell the post offices before you die, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Let's give it to Taylor.
No!
I'm sure he's a capable business person. Are you holding back laughter? Do you not think your brother is,
No comment. I don't know how my brother would go. He's very good at his job at the moment in managing little plebs at McDonald's.
Cool.
But owning your own business is a very different thing. And I think that's why I wouldn't be very good at it. Unless it was a bookstore. Bookstore would be fun.
You'd own a bookstore.
I'd own a bookstore. Yep.
Great. Be a bookstore owner.
Maybe one day.
Off you go. Go on.
I don't have nearly the capital to do that.
Oh.
Awkward. Awkward silence.
It's not awkward. Do you feel awkward?
No, do you?
No, I'm okay. Do the would listeners get like awkwardness?
If you haven't gathered, this is getting towards the end of the podcast.
No, it's not.
It is.
This is only the beginning.
Beginning of the end.
No, this is about mid. This is probably right near the end of the end. It's probably ending right now.